looks like we had an error, and some reason my phone stopped recording and hit stop. But anyway, so with these panels being that they're the same 130 watts, you can connect them together in parallel or in series. And for what we're working with, as long as you're going to get equal sun on them, you can connect them in series so that your amps increase but your volts stay the same. So with connecting, you'll take your black quarter, your negative, and connect it to the negative on one of the panels, and have the positive connect to the negative on the other panel, and then run the positive with the red. Plug it in over here. Now, if you're going to be set up in an area where you think that you might get shade on one of the panels, you're better off not running them in series and run them in parallel, because when they're in series, if one of the panels gets covered with shade, it's going to knock them both out. So if you run it in parallel, one can still work without the other one having sun to it. And by doing that, you'll just take one of these and hook it up in place over here. So then your cables will have a connector on this end, but you'll want to make it so your wires are not drooping in front of the panel, around behind it, so that you don't cast a shadow onto the panels themselves. So then you ordered 2 sets of these brackets, which come in a box like that. And inside it comes with all the bolts and nuts that you need to put them together, so that when you go to prop it up, you set it up at a 35 to 40 degree angle. When they're put together and standing up, they look like that. And then they come with, so this style is for screwing it down into boards if you want to make it more permanent. And then you've got your fasteners for going in the eye loops to putting them onto your brackets. And you can turn them sideways if you want, or have them stand up tall. So when you do them sideways, they'll look like that. And yes, they are flexible, so they will bow in the middle. One advantage of doing it this way is if you're just going to fold it up to put it in your RV, you can just drop that side down without having to take the nuts back off, and it should slip in to your wherever you're going to store it. So when you use them, so the panel is the tall way, there is going to be either a little bit more flop up this way, or if you put that one down here, you're going to have part of that on the ground. It just depends on where you're going to fasten it. If you're setting it on the ground like this, you may consider doing that more, but I'd find a board to go in between and put a couple of these screws into them. Otherwise, to do it this way, I'd find a way to lift it up off the ground so that you can drop that top one down here more, and then that can hang below your brackets without hitting the ground. Again, for those that are catching in the middle of this and wanting to know what I'm doing, I'm just making a tutorial for somebody that bought specific products. But I'm putting this on here so that if there's anybody else that may be having similar products that they are looking to put together, it may help them. Now, going back to your actual Oupes generator, a couple of things that you didn't order with what you got, but you can do an add-on for this, for the Mega 1 that you couldn't do for your Exodus 1800, is this is capable of connecting to an extension B2 battery, which will give you an extra 2 kilowatt plus hours, plus more power ports DC. And it does have an Anderson out port, so while you're charging, it has an Anderson in port for the same way as that has. When it doesn't have a 110 volt charger for AC charging. There's two ways of charging this unit. That is through solar there, or this unit comes with this cable that you connect from the top port here into there, and then these two talk together. And there is an app that can go on your phone with the Oupes where you can connect them together. Currently I don't have your devices on my phone, but you can read your stats of what you got charging and what you got using from your device. And if you have the B2 battery connected, that would also show up on there. So after you connect the two of them together, they're really one unit. They just become where you have more capability of running DC outputs, as well as having an extra 2 kilowatt hours of battery. And so when you plug this into the 110 outlet, now while you're charging this one, it would also charge that. And so that'd be a way that you could charge that using the 110 or the AC charging. But it also works the same way with when you're using the solar. If you're charging through the Anderson port, that too will run from here to there. The same way as if you charge the B2 battery through the Anderson port, that'll go up into your Mega 1. But then if you did want to separate them and use them in two different sections of your home or your camper trailer, you can charge your your B2 battery and then run an Anderson to Anderson cord like this, that will charge this via that port without having to have them connected, but using the same panels that you're using to charge this. So that'll be the end of this video for your Mega 1. I will do a separate video for your introductory on your Exodus 1200 or Exodus 1800. Alright, hope this was helpful.